Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Illinois students, sponsored by the Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us this evening and taking time out of your day to learn more about what makes Milwaukee so amazing. Just a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to type questions to any of our presenters throughout this presentation. We are in webinar mode, so your camera and microphone are off. The panelists cannot see or hear you. So again, please feel free to use that Q&A. And then this is just one of many different sessions happening for the next few weeks. So be sure to check out the full schedule at IACAC.org if you'd like to see what other sessions are available. And then lastly, this presentation is being recorded. So if you'd like to access this information again or share it with others, please feel free to do that. It will be posted in about a week at IACAC.org. So without further ado, I will turn it over to our presenters to get our evening started. So enjoy.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for I Love Milwaukee and You Should Too presentation. My name is Elena Ceja, and I'm an admissions advisor at UW-Milwaukee. And today for you, we have 3 great institutions to learn about, along with current students joining us for a student panel.
Welcome, everyone. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Jess. I am the Senior Admissions Counselor at Cardinal Stritch University. I work specifically with Illinois students. So for everyone who is joining us today, watching this at home, I'll work with you through this whole process of your questions with Cardinal Stritch University, applying scholarships, and hopefully up until the point where you are accepted. And I'm typically even there on move-in day. So I'm really here with you from beginning to end.
Hi everyone, my name is Maya Rodriguez. I am a Senior Regional Admissions Counselor for Marquette University. I also recruit in the Chicagoland area, primarily the western suburbs and a few schools in the North Shore suburbs. I am one of 3 regional admissions counselors in the Chicagoland area. So there is an Illinois recruitment team who recruits in your hometown. So I'm really excited to speak with you today with my colleagues from Cardinal Stritch and University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee to let you know why Milwaukee is so great. Thanks for joining.
So obviously we're all big fans of Milwaukee, being admissions counselors at Milwaukee institutions. There are so many different things that are so great and so fabulous about Milwaukee. I chose to go to college in Milwaukee myself, and after 6 years, I haven't left. So there are obviously some really great things about the city. Lots of different nicknames of Milwaukee. There's Cream City, Brew City, Milltown, Mill, MKE, lots of different nicknames for it, but most commonly it's going to be Milwaukee or MKE. We are a big little city, so there's nearly 1 million people in Milwaukee. However, you would never really know this just walking around downtown, going to college in Milwaukee, running errands. It really does feel like such a small community in a small city, but there are so many opportunities available at everyone's fingertips. The great thing about Milwaukee too is you have that big downtown, big city life, but there's lots of different parks and state trails, bike trails, hiking trails. We also have the lake shore for Lake Michigan, and there's multiple rivers. So there are a lot of outdoor opportunities for students to get involved with, and most of our universities here in Milwaukee do incorporate that into their student life as well. Milwaukee is also home to the NBA and MLB teams, so Milwaukee Bucks, Milwaukee Brewers. If you're from Illinois, you're likely not going to be a Brewers fan. I'm originally from Illinois, so go Cubs. But some really great sports teams here, as well as hockey, volleyball, and soccer. We also have some really cool buildings in Milwaukee. The most famous one is the Milwaukee Art Museum, the Kalatrov. Famous architect built that on the lake shore. He was actually inspired by sailboats. That's what caused him to kind of architect and create it to kind of have these unique wings, and they open during certain points of the day. Really cool building to explore, and you'll always see it on your way into the city. It's a gorgeous building. We're also home to a lot of big name companies, which is great for our students for internships and future career opportunities. Some big names are Harley-Davidson, Johnson Controls, Rockwell, Kohl's, Northwestern Mutual, Manpower, Briggs & Stratton, SC Johnson, Pfizer, Quad Graphics, and the list goes on and on and on. There's so many great things about Milwaukee, and these are just our top ones that we really wanted to talk to you guys about today. If you have more questions about Milwaukee, we're more than willing to talk more about it.
So UW-Milwaukee. At UW-Milwaukee, we have 15 schools and colleges, including Wisconsin's only schools of architecture, freshwater sciences, and public health. We are a dual mission institution for access and research, meaning that we have a holistic approach when reviewing applications, including not having a minimum GPA requirement. As for research, UWM has received R1 status as one of the nation's top 115 research universities. UW-Milwaukee has 90+ majors, and we have an honors college where courses are capped at 15 students. You receive priority class registration, scholarship opportunities, and more. Our students can also enjoy the option of 170 study abroad programs that range from a few weeks to a full academic year. As for athletics, we have 3 tiers: D1, club, and intramural. We have 15 NCAA Division I teams, including basketball and soccer. And something that our students really enjoy at UWM is attending our sports games, which are all free to attend. UWM also has 100 organizations that range from student government, Greek life, clubs, and more. And when you come to UWM, you will find that our dorms are all suite style. This means it's 2 to 3 bedrooms that share 1 bathroom. And something that we're super excited about this year is we are now on the Common App. And for our fall 2021 application, that is currently open, and we are test not required. Additionally, if you apply before October 31st, we will pay your application fee. If you would like to visit our campus, we will be hosting in-person events such as Meet Milwaukee and Illinois Visit Day, which take place October 12th and November 16th. And if throughout the process you wish to meet with an admissions advisor such as myself, you can schedule an advising appointment on our website.
All right, so Cardinal Stritch University. If you have not heard of us, we are a small private Catholic university located on the North Shore of Milwaukee. So about 15 minutes from downtown, kind of tucked away more in a residential area, which is the best of both worlds for our students because you're getting that small campus feel, but you're still so close to downtown Milwaukee and all those opportunities there. A big part of our on-campus experience is our volunteer opportunities, internships, and our small classroom environments. So more than 90% of our students are participating in internships, service, volunteer hours, and so on. It's really incorporated into our curriculum. And that's what you're going to find in all of your courses at Stritch. There's over 70 different program opportunities available for students at Stritch. You can really kind of personalize and individualize your program, combining different areas of interest that you want to pursue in your career path, making it really specialized for what your end goal is and what your dream career plan is. We are part of the NAIA, so we do have Stritch Athletics as well as athletic scholarships. So if that's something you're interested in, always connect with Stritch Admissions so we can get you in touch with our coaches on campus. We are also a test optional and offer holistic admissions, and our application is free and online. We're also part of Common App. So you can always go to stritch.edu/apply. Super easy to fill out that information. And you are guaranteed an academic scholarship with applying and being accepted into Stritch. So there are so many positives to Cardinal Stritch University with that small campus feel, big Milwaukee city, so many internship opportunities, but still have such a small campus and small classrooms. And that's just a little bit about Cardinal Stritch University. Of course, you have to come to campus, check us out, and really get a feel for the small community that we have and that family feeling on our campus.
And last but not least, Marquette University is located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee. We are about 1.5 miles away from Lake Michigan. So the lakefront that has been mentioned already. We're home to a little over 8,000 undergraduate students, and we nearly have students from all 50 states and 70 different countries. So geographically, we're pretty diverse. 41% of our students do come from Illinois, and so we get more students from Illinois than we do from Wisconsin. So the Illinois students just fall in love with Milwaukee as a city. We are also a direct entry institution. So we have 7 academic colleges that students can apply to directly. So you get to start your program right away at Marquette. You'll hear a little bit more about the Marquette experience on our current student panel in a little bit. We're also a Division I institution, so we compete in the Big East Conference or the NCAA. So if you're a big sports fan, we're known for basketball. We actually play, our men's basketball team plays at the Pfizer Forum, which is where the Milwaukee Bucks team plays. We also have more than 300 student organizations that you can be a part of at Marquette. And we have an event called Organization Fest that happens within the first week of classes, where you get to see all the organizations we have to offer. In terms of the admissions process, we are available on the Common Application as well, and we're also have our own Marquette application on our website. It is free to apply, and our application is now open. We have a holistic review process, and we are also a test optional institution. So test scores are optional, as well as letters of recommendation. And with us being rolling admissions, we promise you to try to get you an admission decision within 2 to 3 weeks of when your application file is complete. As long as you apply by our recommended deadline of December 1st, you'll be considered for additional scholarships as well. So lots to offer in Milwaukee from all 3 of us, from all our 3 institutions. And now we really want to spend some time where you get to know our students and what their experiences have been in Milwaukee and on their campuses. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Lizzie from UWM. And if you can just please introduce yourself, and when you introduce yourself, if you can share your name, where you're from, what you are majoring, and why Milwaukee.
Yeah, hello. Okay, so my name is Lizzie. I'm currently a senior at UW-Milwaukee, and I'm majoring in communication with a minor in journalism, advertising, media studies. We have a really cool program called JAMS, which is what that is. So it's literally just like journalism and extra things that I get to look at. But I'm originally from Darien, Illinois, which is, if anyone has not heard of it, close to like Hinsdale, Downers Grove, just like suburb of Chicago, basically. But I chose Milwaukee mostly because I wanted to get out of Illinois and go somewhere else and just kind of experience life somewhere different. And the minute I stepped on my campus, I just fell in love immediately, and I never want to leave. I plan or hope to work there in the future, so I literally like never want to leave after I graduate. So I just love it. There's so many things to do too. Like I still haven't seen half of Milwaukee, so there's still so much to do, and I've been here for 4 years. So yeah, a lot going on.
Thanks, Lizzie. I'm going to go ahead and have Maddie introduce herself.
Hi, so my name's Maddie. I'm a senior at Cardinal Stritch University. I'm an English literature and creative writing double major with a minor in history and a certificate in social justice. I'm from outside of Frisco, Texas, so a little bit further than Illinois, but definitely get the feeling of being an out-of-state student and kind of just getting used to Milwaukee. It's currently I'm going on my 3rd year in Milwaukee because last year I was in Ireland, so that's where that picture is from. But yeah, so it's my 3rd year in Milwaukee, and I fell in love with the city, and I couldn't imagine a better place to go to college.
Thanks, Maddie. And now Rhea.
Hello everyone, my name is Rhea. I am a junior at Marquette University, and I'm currently studying biomedical sciences. I'm on like that pre-med track kind of, well, not kind of, I am on that pre-med track, and I'm also doing a minor in culture, health, and illness. I'm originally from Woodridge, Illinois, so I'm actually very close to where Lizzie is actually from, like around that same area. And when I was doing my whole college search process, I actually applied to 17 colleges, which was not a very fun process, but throughout all of it, I kind of just felt like Milwaukee just made it feel like home with that like sense of community here. And I think that's what really brought me here.
Great, thank you. And now speaking about the city, Milwaukee, what benefits have you experienced as a college student in Milwaukee? And I'm gonna go ahead and go backwards. So I'll go with Rhea.
Sure. So, for Milwaukee, it's definitely a lot different than the city that I've been used to, which is Chicago. But I've just had like multiple like wonderful experiences. Like I usually start off my day running to the lakefront. I used to run a lot in high school, and so like having that city experience where I can be so close to the lake and so close to just like a city where there's like little cute shops, and also like more than that, there's a lot of resources as well. I feel like my college and my like the advising system at my college has done a really well job of me being able to connect with resources, whether it's like the Medical College of Wisconsin or I actually work for Milwaukee's anti-human trafficking system, and they're like right within the city. And so being able to have these resources, learn more, experience more, while also just getting to have a taste of like the Milwaukee city life I feel like has definitely been a very beneficial experience for me and has like allowed me to mature in a lot of ways.
Awesome, thank you. Maddie?
Yeah, so I think like one of the benefits of Milwaukee is kind of just like there's always something to do. And like Lizzie mentioned, like she's been here, she's a senior and she still hasn't seen like half of Milwaukee. So there's always something to explore and there's always something to do. So like pre-COVID, there was always like plans being done every weekend with friends and groups of friends and going down to Third Ward or Art Museum or Bayshore Mall, which is just a couple minutes drive from Stritch's campus, or like down to Bradford Beach and stuff. But kind of just, there always seems to be something to do. So whenever you get a little break in home, it's a really fun city to explore. It's all like, it feels nice to walk around, and it's definitely a different experience than where I grew up, which is just like 20 minutes north of Dallas. So the biggest city I'd ever been in was Dallas. So kind of experiencing something so culturally different, it was a lot of fun as well.
Thanks, Maddie. Lizzie?
Yeah, so, but they've both pretty much covered like a lot of what I've also experienced. But for me, it's been like just kind of experiencing all the like the social things in Milwaukee pre-COVID. I was like a very shy person and like hated going outside and like doing things with friends. And I was a band kid in high school. So like I just had one tiny group of friends through all of high school. And then I got to college and I was like, I can do whatever I want now. Like I don't have to, you know, stick to being friends with one person. And I started to kind of experience things like completely different than what I ever imagined. And like when I first went to Summerfest, I was blown away by how huge it was and just the amount of people that were there. Obviously now it's a little scary, but before all this, it was just like, oh, cool. Like there's so many people that are in the same kind of music as me. And like with the state fair, which is like my favorite thing in Wisconsin altogether, just like experiencing that, because I don't even know if Illinois has one, and if they do, I've never been. So it's just like I never heard of it. And so when I got to Wisconsin, they're like, state fair. I was like, cool, it's like down the street, which was just super fun to experience because I've never been to a state fair before. So it's like I'm from a suburb of Chicago and I'm living in an urban city, and I never thought I would. And it's just kind of nice way to experience new things. And like as a communication major, all I do is talk, basically, talk and write. So when I can go somewhere and just talk, I just enjoy it. And like I'm meeting new people. I even have friends at Marquette, mostly because my cousin goes there, but also because like I go and see her and make friends with her. So it's just like, it's just nice to get out and go places. And there's still, I mean, as I said before, there's still so many things to do. And there's so many internship opportunities that I have yet to take advantage of, but all my friends have had internships at like Bucks and the Brewers and with the Admirals, and I'm just like, I should probably start doing that soon to get out there. But yeah, there's still a lot that's going on.
Thanks for sharing. So you've mentioned Summerfest, you mentioned the State Fair, you mentioned Bayshore, Third Ward, fun things to do in Milwaukee. What is your favorite thing to do with your group of friends in the city outside of your campus? And Maddie, we can start with you.
Okay, one of my favorite things to do was me and my friends have like pretty similar interests, which is really nice. So like I have some group of friends that like our favorite thing to do is always like to go down a Third Ward and explore. Like we'd like drive or Uber down there and we'd be able to go to the public market, which is like one of my favorite places in Milwaukee. And then I've had groups of friends where we go to the art museum. But like my favorite thing to do with my friends is actually go to Adventure Rock, which is a rock climbing place here in Milwaukee. And like me and my friends are all really big climbers, so it's really fun to go and just like spend a day there, have fun, and then once you absolutely get exhausted, then go back to campus and order like Topper's pizza and watch a movie because there's nothing else to do when you're sore and exhausted.
Thanks. How about you, Lizzie?
There's a few different things I like to do. Sorry if you hear jingling, my cat wants to play right now, so I'm kind of throwing toys around for him, but there's one place that my friends and I like to go to before COVID, and it's called Hangout MKE. It's down here on the east side on Farwell. And my parents and I discovered it last year, and I like haven't like ever wanted to not go since. Like it's my favorite place to go because it's just like a nice spot for people who are over 21, for people who are under 21 and just want to hang out with their friends who are over 21 and obviously can't drink. So there's like things that you can drink that are like non-alcoholic, and there's things to do that are just fun. Like it's kind of just like a little like game space, almost like a little cafe lounge sort of feel. They have like pool, they've got table tennis, they have a Wii thing there, they've got some Jenga, like a giant operation table and stuff like that. So there's just a lot of fun stuff to do there. And I just like going there, one, because I can walk there. And two, just because it's like $6 for an hour to play like the giant operation and all that fun stuff. Otherwise, all the board games and card games are free. So it's like the most college friendly place to go because it's $6 or free. And it's fun to just hang out there. And I mean, it's literally called Hangout MKE. And it's kind of like their like motto is like, put your phones away and like be here sort of thing, like unplug and plug in sort of thing. So it's really fun to just kind of like hang out there, obviously. And at least when we're not at like Target or Walgreens, that's where I'm at with my friends.
Thanks, Lizzie. Rhea?
For me, so it's so hard for me to just pick like one thing, so I might share like two. But one of my favorite things, and this has been like a little more relevant this summer with like just the pandemic going on, and you still want to be able to see people, but like be able to social distance. So a lot of my friends and I, we'd like go down to like the lake, and like they have like little picnic spots over there. So we'd like sit like really far apart and have like our little like lunches packed. And it was just kind of like really nice to be like still outside and like be in a really like great lively environment. Also, I love going to Bel Air for tacos. I can never get over them. Every single friend of mine who has visited me from back home is in love with that place too. So they come here, they bring their car, we drive there, amazing food. But yeah, I'm a big food person. So picnics and like going out to eat. There's also like this very, very cute like little bookstore. I don't remember the name of it, but I believe it's on Brady Street. And they like sell books, like they're like resale. And I like really like reading and like just like getting to know more things. So like I love going there and like just having like a day to myself and grab a couple books and, you know, like plop on a spot and just read some books. So that's also been something that's been very interesting for me.
Thanks, Rhea. So now that we know a little bit more about your social lives and what you enjoy to do in the city of Milwaukee with your friends, let's talk a little bit more about your professional opportunities that your institutions have provided for you because of where your institution is located. So Lizzie, if you want to go ahead and start and share a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, so I have really only worked like on campus just because I still have yet to leave, but there's still like so much that I've done with my campus that I honestly can't even believe it. So like with what I've done with like working at all is I've worked with my university housing and I've run an event planning committee, which basically I just planned events every week with a committee that I ran. And we just had little events every week for students to kind of just be like, hey, this is what we're doing on the weekend. Like, you don't have to go to parties. Like, you can do fun things like here. Like, we have free things. Like, come make a like dream catcher with us or something like that. So it's just like fun little things like that that I really like to do. And then now I'm a campus ambassador, so now I'm telling everyone about my school all of the time, which never gets old. But like it's one of those things again where I was shy and I never thought I'd be doing this ever. And it's just really cool to do it because now I like have ideas of what I want to do within the next 8 months since I'm graduating soon. I kind of have a direction of where I want to go, and that's all thanks to the things I've been able to do for a job on campus. And so I'm planning to work in higher education, so we'll see where that goes, but it's something I definitely never would have thought of. Like even my freshman year of college, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go into like something weird or cool or figure it out. And now I'm like, nope, I think I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Only problem is getting there, but we'll get there. But yeah, I plan to also try to get, hopefully someday soon, get an internship or job with the Brewers, just because I like going to the games and I like their team. I'm a Trader from Chicago, but I'm a Sox fan, so I'm still a Sox fan. I support the Cubs, but I'm a Brewers fan. So I'm a little bit on the outside, but I do like the Bears. I'll never disrespect my Bears. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of all for me.
Thanks, Lizzie. I'm also originally from Illinois, and I did not convert to a Brewers fan, but I did convert to a Packers fan. So I will say, go Pack, go, and go Cubs, go. I just had to laugh and share that with everyone. Now, Ria, if you wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about your professional opportunities that you've had.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the professional opportunities I've had is actually being a tour guide for Marquette. So I do that a few times a week. And honestly, I'm a pretty like hyper, like loud personality. So I don't mind at all. Like walking and talking around is like, I love this game, I love talking to people and I love getting to know about everyone's stories. So also I feel like it just makes me a better communicator. I feel like in any profession you're going into, like communication is always key. And I think it's just made me a little more intuitive and made me a little bit more like being able to like converse with different types of people with different types of backgrounds. I'm also, like Lizzie mentioned, another like on-campus opportunity been being a teaching assistant for the gross anatomy labs at Marquette, and that's something that I got into this year through an anatomy fellows program at school. And I love the fact that basically that I get to be on campus and do these jobs, which I like really enjoy. I really enjoy talking. I really enjoy teaching and talking about like the human body, and that's kind of like what I'm going into. But to be able to like work with people and do that is definitely like just a bonus. And then another professional opportunity that I've just recently started is there's actually a hospital on Marquette's campus. It's Aurora Sinai Medical Center, and I was able to get my nursing assistant license this summer. So I've been working there on the weekends and just kind of getting like more patient care experience. But I've never had to like travel like really far to be able to get these professional opportunities, which I think has been really, really helpful for me.
Thanks, Ria. Maddie?
Yeah, so Stritch has a lot of on-campus student employment opportunities, thankfully, especially because I don't have a car. So it's been real great. Since my second semester, my freshman year, I've actually been working with the Office of Undergrad Admissions. I'm a student ambassador. So with that, I help with data entry. I help with like other like admissions events. I give tours of the college. I answer phone calls. I like all that stuff. So I've been really fortunate to have that opportunity. It just allows me to work in a higher education kind of office, to work with team building and my communication skills. And then also just alongside that, I've been able to work with our advising office as a peer advisor, which helps freshmen kind of figure out their grad plans and how to register for classes. I've helped out with study abroad stuff as well, she doesn't have a student worker, so whenever she needed some stuff before I studied abroad and while I'm waiting for stuff this semester as well, when she's on campus more, I can help her out with that. And then also my internship is also on campus. Stritch has a certain amount of on-campus internships available, and because over 90% of our programs do require at least one semester's worth of internship in order to graduate. So my internship is with something called OWL on campus. So basically I help peer review and give suggestions for edits on papers that students submit to OWL. And then also I help with writing tutoring, which is really helpful because I want to go into the publishing and editing field.
Thanks, Maddie. It's so cool that everything's on campus. So it's really helpful, especially someone who doesn't have a car and who came all the way from Texas to come to Milwaukee. So it's really great that you've been able to gain so many experiences at your institution, and that you chose to move to the cold and experience all 4 seasons. Well, wonderful. I'm also curious to know a little bit back to your freshman year. Like, think back. A lot of these students that we're speaking to today are high school students and they're in their junior or senior year. What advice do you have for them? And then if you can talk a little bit about your admissions process and why you chose Milwaukee to call your next home, as well as your institution. And we'll go ahead and start with Rhea.
So as an incoming freshman, honestly, as a senior in high school, I was really anxious about the whole college process, as I'm sure a lot of students are. I have a very strong friend group from back home, and I still am very much in touch with them, but I was like, oh my God, what if I can't find friends? Like, what if like people don't like me, or like, I just don't know what I'm doing? And like I mentioned earlier, I applied to 17 colleges, which was, I put more stress on myself than I should have, but I really was basically very confused. And going into the college search process, because I kind of know the type of person I am, I really thought I wanted to go to a more like bigger like state school, and I ended up realizing that wasn't like maybe just the right fit for me. And I remember I came to Marquette and I was like, oh, like I don't feel like so lonely here, and like I felt like I could like walk through the doors and like smile. And my the tour guide I actually had, I ended up working with her a year later, which is kind of funny. But I definitely understand it being just so hard to navigate through the process now more than ever. But I feel like going through that whole college search process like also made me realize what type of opportunities I was really looking for. And so when I thought about Milwaukee, I was like, it's still a city life, you know, I still can go out and find things to do, and find little opportunities, whether they're professional or social. And at the institution I'm at, I was really looking for an institution that also, along with, you know, like their academics and classes and curriculum, I also wanted an institution that also prioritized research. And we have a gross anatomy lab here, and those were things that I really just kind of wanted to get my hands on as soon as I could. And I felt like being at a medium-sized university kind of like gave me those opportunities a little better, while still being able to kind of connect with the whole community of the institution and the city itself. And then something that I always say to students who like come to Marquette, or who are just like, you know, like looking for a little bit of guidance about what to do with their college process, I always say, make sure you pick, you know, the city or the school that you choose to go where you feel like you're going to be not only recognized for your hard work, but also recognized for like the person you're becoming. Because where you choose to go in the environment you surround yourself with, like, it's so important, because that's it. These are like your ages of growing. And I know I'm very young to be saying this, but like I myself feel like, because I kind of like navigated myself through this process, I feel like I've grown in some ways that maybe I wouldn't have if I didn't really like think about and prioritize things that were important to me specifically. But that's my whole spiel.
Thanks, Rhea. Maddie?
Yeah, so my college admissions process was kind of all over the place, obviously. I was applying to schools both in the South as well as up in Milwaukee. And then I also applied to one based in France. So I kind of went all over. But ultimately, Milwaukee I am not the first person in my family to attend university in Milwaukee. My grandfather, as well as one of my uncles, is a Marquette alum. My aunt is a Stritch alum, and there's a long-standing tradition of my family ending up mostly at Marquette and other schools around the Milwaukee area. But I knew for a fact that my main thing was I wanted a very small school. I did not like the idea of being in a rather large classroom. Just for me personally, I knew it would work better for me being in a small class. So coming to Stritch, and when I toured before I applied, but when I toured, I actually ended up working with my tour guide as well for a couple years before he graduated. I was able just to kind of get a big family feel and kind of just see how individual Stritch is and how much they care about the individual student rather than just data and numbers, which was really super nice. And then kind of coming into my freshman year, it was definitely intimidating being the one person. I was the one person for 2 years here at Stritch from Texas, so that was quite a big difference. It's a very big joke all around campus. Every faculty member who works with me, they make the joke that I am the one from Texas. I get nicknamed Texas all the time. So kind of just jumping from a very big area. But like my friend had her motto for us freshman year was be bold, kind of just like, if you want something, go for it, and don't be afraid to don't talk yourself out of it. So that was very helpful coming in freshman year, just making friends very quickly and making friends with the type of people that encourage you to chase your dreams rather than kind of allow you to talk yourself out of it.
Thanks, Maddie. Lizzie?
Yeah, so again, everyone's taking the really good points, but I think for me with my freshman year and just looking for colleges in general, I looked at quite a few different schools, definitely not 17, but at least around 5, I think maybe, just because I was I'll get into one of them at some point probably. I got into 4 of them, which I was pretty happy with, but I toured all of them kind of before I applied to any of them, but with Milwaukee, it was the first one I visited, and I fell in love literally immediately. I hadn't even taken a tour yet. I stepped on campus with my mom. We were walking to the building to go take a tour, and I was like, oh, I have to go here. It was just really pretty. I don't know what it was. It was just a weird click that I was like, oh, this is cool. And I took the tour, and I was like, I was like, yeah, this is where I got to go. And my mom was like, well, we'll see other schools first. It's your first one. Take your time. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll push it to the side for now. So I kind of forgot about it for a little bit, or at least that feeling of it for a little bit. And then I saw a couple other schools, none of them really compared, but then I went to Ball State University in Indiana to look at that one. And I also had not a super big click, but a tiny bit of oh, maybe it could work probably. And then I realized that it didn't have as much of diversity that I hoped it would. So then I was like, all right, check mark that one off. Don't need that one. Milwaukee it is. So it was just immediate then. And I think I decided by October of my senior year that I wanted to go to UWM. So it was very quickly that I decided, and I'm glad that I did. But I think then coming into freshman year, I had a couple of, I had one friend that I knew from high school, and then we made a couple of friends, and there were some people we met at orientation that we hung out with then, which was also just super cool to be hey, I remember you. Being it 2 months later, but it was just nice to have a little bit of friends to start with. And I'm actually only friends with I think still one of them, just because we've all gone our separate ways. Some people have transferred and stuff like that. But I think my one biggest thing that I always try to tell people on my tours, or even just in general whenever I'm doing any kind of event, is never be afraid to switch your major. I've actually switched mine technically 3 times. In my 4 years, but I actually switched it before I even got to the campus. So I applied to UWM as a music education major and decided shortly after that that's not what I wanted to do, and I requested to change my major, so I completely changed it to communication. And then after freshman year, I kind of didn't really want to continue with communication, and I switched to JAMS because I realized that had a path to event planning, and I was like, that sounds fun, let's do that. And then I got through with the JAMS program, or at least to where I had to declare the major or the minor, and I was like, I don't really want to major in this anymore. And I was like, well, I'm halfway to the minor, I'll just minor in it. And then I went back to communications. So literally just been all over the board, switching and everything. But I'm glad that I did, because I was able to realize what I wanted to do and stuff like that. So whenever I hear people that are like, oh, I don't know what I want to do, I'm always like, don't worry, you don't need to know. Like it's better to go in not knowing, because you can have more like chances to branch out and do things that you think you want to do, and you have more chances to just be like, this might be interesting, and try those. So that's kind of my biggest like advice, is just if you're going in unknowing what you're going to do, honestly, it's probably better. And never be afraid to change majors. I know people who have done it like 5 times. And I have one friend who actually just changed her major this year, and she's a junior, so she just added on an extra 2 years.
Thank you, Lizzie. So I want to be mindful of our time. So if you can answer this one last question, short and sweet, what are you most looking forward to this year? And we'll start with Maddie.
Graduating and figuring out what I'm doing fully with my next year of my life. And then also looking forward to snow. I want to see snow again. I miss my snow. That's it.
Thanks, Maddie. Rhea?
I'd say I'm not the biggest fan of snow, but I do like the current fall weather, so I'm hoping to enjoy that a little bit more. I'm hoping that I get to enjoy the few in-person classes I have as much as I can, a little more as well. And I'm hoping that, you know, in my time here, whether school is in person or online, I still get to explore a little bit more of Milwaukee.
And Lizzie?
For me, also graduating. And then I also just joined this fitness group, Charge, and I'm excited to kind of run through that for the year, kind of experience Milwaukee that way.
Well, thank you so much, students, for sharing a little bit more of why you love Milwaukee, why you love your institutions, and what you're looking forward to this year. We really appreciate you sharing your stories with Illinois students, with the hope of them considering a school in the Milwaukee area. And so thank you, students, for joining us today. We are so thankful that you took the time to learn a little bit more about the city that we all love, including the professional staff and students on this call. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to StriveScan as they have a final announcement.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Sorry, just lost my slide. There we go. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. We do have a quick survey for you that will pop up when you close this window. It is just 4 questions, so we do ask that you answer those if possible. And then again, there are sessions happening like this for the next 4 weeks, so please feel free to check out the schedule at iacac.org. And then lastly, this session was recorded, so if you would like to access this content later or share it, you'll be able to do that in about a week at the same website, iacac.org. So thank you so much, everybody, and everybody have a wonderful evening. Bye.